Hi guys, I'm Jen Hensley, co-owner and effectiveness coach with Dynamics. Today we're going to be talking about engagement, which I know is one of the most important things to you. How do we get kids to engage online? We've gathered teachers who've been teaching online for years to share their top tips and tricks with you.
So I think that kind of a trap I've fallen into in the past would be thinking that I need to be in everything. I need to make everything from scratch. I think something that I've kind of come to realize is there's a ton of really high quality stuff out there that you can take and utilize and chunk up and kind of use, in your own classes. So a couple of years ago, I would be in everything. My face would be in all the videos. I'd be delivering all the lectures. But like, there's a web series or YouTube series called Constitution Hall Pass. And I remember seeing those when I was in middle school or high school as like a VHS we would watch. It was kind of like a grainy VHS videotape. But now I was looking at it, and they kind of redid them in the past 2 or 3 years and have all these great subjects. And I can kind of take those and kind of use them in the class. And kind of what I do is I use a tool to overlay questions on the videos. So as students watch the videos, which I think are really engaging and really well done, like I can never produce anything as high quality as them. Like they're walking through the Smithsonian and talking about stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm sitting in my office here. So that's a lot more engaging. I can have the questions throughout that kind of holds them accountable to answering stuff or pausing to think about things. So that's kind of, I think, is a key for engagement, is maybe to spend a day or a week just saying, what are some really cool things that are out there already that I can use that are going to interest students, that are really well done. And maybe you can supplement that with a 2-minute video of yourself. And the video just says, hey guys, you're going to watch this longer video, answer the questions through it. So it's important to have that presence of you in there so they know you're a real person. But kind of, if stuff is out there that's already is engaging and high quality, definitely use that. And if you have to modify it a little bit, like I add in the questions or add in a quiz after it, then that's what you have to do. I think there's a lot of good stuff out there that is going to engage students and they can connect to you more. I think another good thing for engagement is having that variety, but also having week to week pretty similar in terms of how information is presented. So I kind of have a mix of where there's going to be readings. They're not going to be ridiculously long, but there are going to be some readings I have to complete. There might be a video of me. There might be another video. I have these interactive tutorials I make with an Adobe product. And students kind of start learning what to expect after a couple of weeks of, like this is the part where I'm going to watch the Constitution Hall Pass video. I know what's going to be required of me there. So it's kind of keeping things, in a way so they're not too much new ideas thrown at them constantly. Kind of gets into a pattern where students know, okay, here's a reading, I know what to expect from this. Here's a video from Mr. Daly, I know what to expect from this. Here's the interactive tutorial, here's the quiz, here's the end of block test.
We talked before and you mentioned using polls and kind of getting the student voice in. What are different ways that you encourage them to share their opinions and to interact?
I think one way is when you email students, which is probably the primary method I reach out to the large group of students or individual students. I think you kind of have to think about like emailing like a marketer. So kind of an example of that is like give them an email they want to open. Like I bought my wife a Kate Spade purse a couple years ago. I don't have any plans on buying another Kate Spade purse in the near future. I still get their emails, and sometimes I find myself like opening a Kate Spade email because they have a really catchy title, like, hey Daniel, like, and there's like a fire emoji or something, like check out this. Oh, let me check that out. So that's kind of something we've tried to work on, is giving them a reason to open an email, to open a communication. And that's really a simple 5-second thing to do. Maybe the email has a silly pun title or a question. Our online system has a method where you can get it to use the student's first name in the email. So it's, Joanna, what do you think about this? And I send the email to 100 kids and they don't know that it's automated. But just kind of try to make your communications personal, even if they are a wide blast out email. Give them a reason to open it up, because I know that email I send out, with a question in the title or some funny emojis is going to get more responses and more opens than if I say April government update. That's competing with all the other emails they're getting. So kind of tailoring your communications, even if it's a wide blast email, so they do want to open it, they do want to
Yes.
engage with it, is something where it's some of your emails are going to be more successful than others.
Right.
You know, sometimes like, oh, I gave them an extra credit opportunity in that email and 5 kids did it. Like,
Right. Oops.
maybe it's the time of year
Yeah.
wasn't right for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in the synchronous or asynchronous classroom, the engagement piece is important to ask yourself, is the learning accessible? Is it inclusive? And is it meaningful? Meaning, can all students find success with what I'm asking them to do? So I think everything needs to be very clear and concise of what you expect of them. I'm sure you've been in the situation where you're asked to do something and you start to do it and you have no clue what you're supposed to do. So I think if we set them up for success, they'll be more likely to engage. So clear instructions, they understand what to do, and they understand if they are confused, they know how to then get help, whether that's calling you, emailing you. So again, establishing those routines of how to work in your class, what to do if you get stuck, so they'll continue to want to kind of persevere through the lesson. Within the lesson itself, after the instructions are clear, it needs to be engaging, and again, variety of activities, so the child doesn't get bored and they want to see what's next. When I'm looking for instructional material, there's so many resources out there, but sometimes it's not super engaging. And I ask myself, I know my kid wouldn't want to read that, or I know I would have trouble reading that. So finding things that are engaging within your instructional materials that you choose. And I also think we need to be aware of our learner. So we're prepared for the hiccups that might come about. So when we plan something, an activity, I think videos are very useful. Again, do they know how to reach out if they stumble? But also then be prepared for the hiccups in the sense, okay, now that everything's ready to go, where might they find trouble? And be prepared for those and provide, whether it's a link for vocabulary, whether it's a graphic organizer tool that might help them, whether it's a note-taking organizer. So if you ask them to take notes, if they're not maybe ready for that, they have a tool or a resource that they can use. If you're asking them to read something, is it differentiated? If it's not their reading level, is there an audio version ready? So again, not only does it need to be engaging and meaningful, but I think, again, going back to, will it be accessible for all my learners? As teachers, I think one of the most difficult things is to plan grade level instructions with learners who aren't grade level. So with inclusive, I think we need to be prepared for, they might try this activity, and if you can have something on there that says, hey, do you need a little more practice or review? Try this. And it might be a differentiated, a little easier, or maybe just extra practice. I also think with inclusive, we need to be not only present the lesson in multiple ways, but also allow them multiple ways to show what they know. Okay. So again, it probably goes back to choice, but allow them to be able to maybe present their lesson in a video, or maybe to type their answer, but again, including everything we can for that specific learner.
One thing I have the luxury of is setting up my classroom so kids can anticipate what's coming. I think, like you were talking about, the comfort level. They know that when they go to do math, that they're going to start with some kind of a review activity. And then they're going to, have a lesson, and then they'll have some type of practice, and then there'll be an assessment. And if students know what to expect, then they're less hesitant to jump in. And if there's something that they don't like, they know that, oh, I hate it when I just have to read this lesson here. But I know once I get through this, then I'm going to be able to go play this game, or I'm going to go work with this online manipulative to reinforce this. Because there's always going to be some things they don't like.
Other things that you do for engagement.
It kind of goes back a lot with like the participation and things, just reaching out to them and letting them know when they've done well. Um, that's engaging. Um, Giving kids choice when I can. It's a lot more work for the teacher and sometimes difficult, but whenever there is a possibility, allow them to give them a choice to do things. Sometimes when I have some activities that are online that might be a little more bit like if I was in a traditional classroom, it'd be very easy to give group instruction and everybody could do them. But online, it's sometimes more difficult with activities that are definitely worthwhile, but could be really challenging to a student to do on their own. I still put those in there, but make them more of an optional activity.
Sure.
And then the kids who maybe would struggle with it because it's optional and they're not going to get graded are more likely to at least go in and try, because they know there's no penalty for failure. You know, if they don't get it, it's okay.
Sure.
So trying to include the things that push a kid beyond the basics, but weighing those a little bit differently.
What's your tip for teachers and as they're planning their classes, how to get kids engaged? You talked about routines.
Yeah, I would say routine is the biggest thing. And if you're working with a team of teachers, if the team of teachers can work so that the routine is similar in each class, like they always know, if you're in a 5th grade team, they always know I need to start by going to the Google Classroom and there's going to be an announcement. And then from that announcement, the teachers are going to send them to do different things. One common starting place so they know where to always go to get started. Routine really helps kids feel comfortable in a classroom, and if they feel comfortable, then they're going to come back.
Is there anything I haven't asked that you think would help teachers new to the virtual environment?
Just keep trying. I would say the biggest thing about the virtual environment is you have to collaborate with your other teachers. If you find something that is great, share it. Share it, give it away freely to as many people as you can. And if you're struggling with something, ask other people, what did you do for this? I've got no clue, how I'm going to teach converting, mixed numbers to improper fractions online, because we don't have our shapes that we can break down into parts. Beg, borrow, and steal from everybody that you can. It has to be a group community effort.
We hope the tips you've picked up today really help you as you teach in the online environment. We suggest that you take some time and reflect, jot down some notes, and most importantly, connect and collaborate with your colleagues.